Hello, ladies. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Secure. This is your host, Emily, dating and relationship coach, specializing in all things attachment. Our topic today, this is an episode as part of a series of episodes about situationships. And today's topic is about when you finally work up the courage to have the hard conversation. You tell him what you want. You ask him what he wants, maybe you communicate that you want a relationship. And he tells you, most likely, if you're listening to this episode, that that's not what he wants, right? And yet, nothing changes. Nothing changes in the dynamic. So you are still seeing each other often. Maybe you're still like going on dates. Maybe you're still doing physical things together. He's still kind of treating you like a girlfriend, even though he said that he didn't want a relationship or didn't want a girlfriend. And so you're wondering, why did nothing change? I told him I wanted a relationship, so why did nothing change? Okay, we are breaking down this $1 million question today. Why? Let's get right into it. Because you didn't set boundaries. You are still allowing things to continue as they were before the conversation happened. He's getting what he wants from this dynamic, which is something low key, something not committed, something on his terms. And maybe he is like a terrible, awful guy who's just taking advantage, or maybe he's not. Maybe he's a pretty decent guy. He just doesn't have the capacity for a relationship. He doesn't want a relationship. Maybe he just feels like maybe there's a difference in values between you guys. He just doesn't see long-term potential there. It could be a million different things, right? And we don't have to take it personal. Either way, he doesn't want a relationship, right? And he's getting the casual sort of dynamic that he wants from you. He's not the one who has a problem with the current arrangement. You do. And so it's not his responsibility to adjust the boundaries now that you guys have had this conversation. It's yours. You're the one who wants something to be different. And he's going to assume that if you are staying in the situation, if you're continuing as things were and you don't make changes, then you're okay with the dynamic. And that's not even on him at that point because you said what you wanted, but now you're not standing by it. And it's your job to take care of you. It's your job to decide what you are available for or not, what you're going to allow or not. And I know that it can feel so hard to actually close the door, to actually stand by what you have communicated. And there's a few reasons for that. And one of them is that situationships really do feel quite addictive, right? They hit on some of our deepest core wounds, like the fear that maybe you're unworthy of, commitment, unworthy of the love that you want. Maybe you have a fear that you're not worth choosing, not worthy of being chosen. And those are just a couple. And these wounds are deep and they're old, going all the way back to childhood. So when you think about actually setting boundaries, actually closing the door with this person, it might feel really, really intense because there are associations with past loss, with past rejection, with past pain. And so it might feel really intense. It might feel like death or like this intense, loss. And if so, that just communicates to us that this is about something deeper for you. It's not really about him. He is just the mirror reflecting back to you what wounds you have inside. And so, what I want you to do, wherever you are, I'm going to walk you through a little exercise. This is probably better if you're in a private spot, if you can. And if you can't do this right now, then I want you to come back and listen to this part later. You can listen through it if you want to now, but I want you to make an intentional effort to come back to this later because it's important that you start showing up for you. And if you are in this cycle of self-abandoning by choosing people who are not available, who can't give you what you want, who have told you they can't give you what you want, you are in a cycle of self-abandonment. So you need to do small things that are within reach that help rebuild that trust with yourself, that safety with yourself. You need to start showing up for yourself in the small ways that you can. And one of the ways you can do that is by committing to coming back and doing this exercise later when you have, the time, when you have the privacy for it. So if you can't listen right now, I want you to open up your phone and open up your calendar and set yourself a reminder for sometime later today when you can come back to this episode and do this exercise. Okay? Did you do it? Okay, show up for yourself in this, even in this small way. Okay, it's a start. Now, I want you to think about the idea of ending things with this person, of actually closing the door, setting the boundaries, letting him go, whatever the ending, whatever that looks like or sounds like to you. And I want you to ask and notice, does this feel super intense? If so, notice, where do you feel this in your body? Where do you feel it? Find it. Just do a little bit of a scan. Is it like a pit in your stomach? Do you feel a tightness in your chest? Do you feel like you're going to be sick? Do you feel your heart racing, or your breath is all of a sudden shallow or super like deep? Just notice. We don't need to change anything. Just notice it. Now, I want you to ask yourself, how old do I feel right now? How old do I feel in this experience? And you will probably find that you feel quite young. Maybe you can recall a specific moment or memory or a version of yourself. Maybe a number just pops into your brain. Or maybe you can't connect it to anything specific, but you just have these really intense, uncomfortable sensations. Because maybe this is even flashing you back to trauma that happened before you could speak, which is called pre-verbal trauma. And so you don't necessarily have memories of these things, but you have the signs in your body that you experienced something. And this is what makes it so hard to cut off relationships that aren't good for us. Because there's this little girl inside of you, this younger version, who feels overwhelmed, who feels helpless, abandoned, trapped, scared. And she just wants to know that she's going to be okay. She just wants to know that you've got her, that she's safe, that she's loved, even if the love doesn't come from this person that you want it to come from. And there are lots of ways that you can show this version of your self-love, that you can help soothe her, that you can regulate these intense emotions that are coming up for you. Lots of ways you can learn to be there for yourself. And these are things that I do with clients all the time in sessions, day in, day out. And I want to give you one small way that you can start doing that now. So I want you to take one hand and place it gently on your chest. And with anything that we do that is somatic, every person experiences this differently. So this might be a huge thing for you, or it might be like, for you, because your nervous system is different from mine and from the next woman's and from the next. So just go in with an open mind and be curious about what this does for you, what you feel as we go through this. And it might not be much, or it might be a lot. So place one hand gently on your chest. I like to do this where it's a little bit below my collarbone. And sometimes I'll rub my hand back and forth, and that's always really comforting to me. And maybe you want to do that too, or maybe you just want to feel the sensation of your hand against your skin, or like the weight of it on your chest. Maybe your shirt is covering all of that area. So just notice how light it feels, or maybe you can add a little more pressure, just a tiny bit. Maybe you can lessen some of the pressure. Just notice what feels good. Maybe you want to take another hand and place it on top of that one. And whenever I do this, I always notice how soft it feels between my two hands. I notice how good that sensation feels. It's like a nice surprise. And maybe you can notice which hand is warmer or which one's colder. Maybe you notice that your hand right against your chest is warmer and your hand on top is not quite as warm. And so you can continue to play with these different sensations and experiment with them. And we're going to add a layer to this. So I want you to picture that younger version of yourself that came up when you thought about how old you felt. Again, maybe it's a memory, maybe it's just thinking of yourself at a certain age, maybe it's just a version of you that's younger that you can connect to. Now, it's a version of you that feels really scared, right? She's scared to let this guy go. She's scared of what the ending of this means for her and what it means about her. And I want you to say some of these things out loud after me. So you'll say your name, I'll say my name, and then I'll leave a space and I want you to say yours. Okay, so think of that little girl. We're going to say, Emily, your name. I've got you. Okay, and repeat that. Emily, I've got you. Emily, your name. I'll be with you until you feel okay again. I'll repeat that. Emily, I'll be with you until you feel okay again. And the last one, Emily, your name. I'm so proud of you. Emily, I'm so proud of you. And you can take a few moments if you need them. Maybe noticing your hands again. If this brought up some things for you, then maybe you hit pause for a minute or two. Just let yourself kind of release some emotion and come back after you've had a moment to process. And if you're still here with me, I would encourage you to just notice the sensations in your body without trying to change them, not making any of them wrong, just simply allowing them to be. None of them are a problem. They're just communication. And just continue to track them and notice them. And maybe you want to notice some things around you in your environment. Maybe noticing some different colors around you. Just exploring the room, bringing some curiosity. So what is around me? What is next to me in this space? What things do I see that bring me comfort? And as we close out the podcast, I want you to walk away with two things. Number one, leaving connections that are not good for you can feel very hard. And it feels even harder because you have these older wounds. So when you learn to support yourself through these big emotions, when you learn to soothe, when you learn to become more secure within yourself, walking away becomes much easier. It doesn't feel so overwhelming to do so. It also means that you don't end up in situations like this either. You're not attracted to these kinds of dynamics anymore. And number two, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible. You are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for. And it becomes easier to tap into that capability as you build capacity to do difficult things, right? As you build the nervous system capacity to feel what's uncomfortable and know that you're still going to be okay. And it's important to start showing up for yourself, even in small ways, and even when it's hard to. That builds trust and that builds safety with yourself. But staying in limbo is only keeping you in a state of feeling unworthy, in a state of feeling not worth being chosen. And it's keeping you from the relationship where you are chosen and where your nervous system can chill the heck out because you're not constantly wondering what's happening. Is he going to choose you? Is he not? What does he really feel? You're not in this place of constant questioning. And if you are at a point where you're ready to let go of your situationship, or you are trying to let go and you want to stop holding on to the connection emotionally, and you want some support on that journey, finally have a clean break and just ensure that you never end up in a situationship again, then I would encourage you to sign up for my new 5-week program, Unsituationshipable. This is a short, sweet live group program, and it's only $199 until April 15th. After that, it's going to go up to $299. So go ahead and register to get that $100 discount. And so this is just, like I said, a live group coaching program. It'll be a small group. You'll have one-on-one time in the coaching seat with me, and you're going to learn everything you need to about what gets you into situationships, how to let go of yours without all the ruminating and wondering what could have been, and how to prevent ever ending up in a situationship again for the future. So you can actually become unsituationshipable and only give your time to guys who are actually ready for commitment. So you can register for that via the link in the show notes. You can find more details, and our live sessions start the end of this month, April. All right, my dears, that is all I have for you today. If you feel inspired to take some bold action after this, I would encourage you to do so. If you're feeling a little tender, take some time and just be with yourself, tend to yourself. Maybe you want to go on a walk, maybe you want to journal a little bit more. Maybe you want to drink some water, eat a big meal, make sure your blood sugar is balanced. Anything that you feel led to do to kind of tend to yourself. So I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Until then, wishing you lots of luck and love on your journey towards becoming secure.